Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of King Reflections. I'm Daniel Oliver, your host, a graphic designer and a personal trainer by trade, and starting to do my life coach course at the moment. So today I want to talk about how I'm donating to Southern Youth and Family Services, and I don't really talk about this or express this or expose this as much as I guess I should within my podcast and within my King Habits episodes on my Instagram, IGTV, and Facebook and stuff. So I thought I might do an episode of expressing why I wanted to donate money to the Southern Youth and Family Services. Now, for those who don't know what Southern Youth and Family Services is, it is an organization down here in the Illawarra, and we cater to anyone under the age of 24 that is homeless or at risk of homelessness. And obviously we help with the youth and with the families, providing them counseling and other services as well. So for example, if there is a client that is homeless, we help them to find housing, we help them with basic necessities, we help them find a job. We provide courses so that they can get, work in a barista or in a pub or anything like that. So it's a massive service all over the Illawarra, and we expand from, I think, Helensburgh down all the way down to Nowra and even out all the way out to Goulburn and Queanbeyan. Anne. So it is a massive service, and I didn't even know it existed until I started working there as a personal trainer. Yeah, and it's quite massive. I still don't know a lot of the people that actually work within the organization, so that's how massive it is. And of course, I'm just the personal trainer, so I don't really interact with other of the social workers and any of the other workers that work behind the scenes to keep it alive. And it is a massive contribution to the community in providing services that the youth can actually access quite easily and get the help that they actually need. And part of me donating 30% of the proceeds of all the merch on the website is because I've always wanted to, I've always wanted to run my own business in a sense, but I wanted to run a business that had a great meaning behind it. And to back up that meaning, obviously have a donation or a charity that I can donate some of the money to, because I've always believed in providing back to the community. And of course, I'm not a social worker, and I don't feel that I have the best of skills to, or even education or qualifications to, intervene, to help people as much as I would like to. So I decided, you know what, I can donate money. The only thing is I don't have a lot of money, so to speak. So I'm going, well, how am I going to generate that money? And I'm going, well, of course I can run my own business. And of course I wanted to start my own clothing line. And most people think, he started his own clothing line because he wanted to be cool and wanted to keep up with the trends because most PTs eventually start their own clothing line, in a sense, their own sort of fitwear. But I tried to avoid, not completely avoid, but decided not to go to the fitwear niche. I wanted to focus on just casual wear because I wanted to attract, obviously, the young people as much as the mid-30s target market. So most people probably think that I do it for, to be cool and to get some extra money in, but I actually haven't earned an actual profit. Like I say on one of my Instagram posts, it has the 3 slides if you go on my Instagram, which I'm going on right now just to see, just to express my point. So if you come down to the financial year post that I have, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So I put up on what date was it? Doesn't even say a date. Okay. I put up the financial report for 2019 to 2020. So after July. And so what I would say as profit was the amount that I could, the amount that was after all the expenses, like in production of a shirt. So for example, in complete transparency, I charged $50 for a double printed t-shirt, and that's front and back, because it cost at the moment, I think $34.82 for a double printed black t-shirt. White is a bit cheaper, I believe. So I charged $50. So, 16 of that roughly, or $15 of that is what I get after. So somebody purchases a tee for $50. I then go to the production, because I do one at a time. It prints one at a time. I don't bulk buy, because I can't afford to bulk buy a massive amount of tees, and they only, most companies do, minimum order 50. I can't afford to fork out, $1,500, and that's just for each design. Like if you want, a black tee with one design, that's, I don't know what's 50 times, well, let's just say it cost about, so let's say I want 50 tees, and roughly they cost for a black, probably about, let's just aim for 15. So that's $750 for wholesale price printed of double tees if you go to a normal printing service. Well, not a normal service, but a printing service. And that's just one black tee. Now I offer with each design, a men's tee, a men's tank, a women's tee, a women's tank, kids tee, and the hoodies. I've got kids hoodies and unisex hoodies for males and females, adult males and females. And if you add it all up, so let's just say that's like 6, and of course they're going to cost different. So for one design, for 6 different cuts, so for example, the men's, women's, and kids, hoodies, t-shirts, and all that stuff, and the tanks, $750 is for, like we said, $15 for men's black tees. A hoodie might be $20, so that's an added extra however much. But it comes to about 5,000. So 4,500 is got here if it all cost $750 for 50 copies. And that's just for one design. But I've got quite a few designs, so I can't afford to fork out thousands of dollars to bulk print and bulk buy. So I use a service down in Melbourne, and they're called Print Locker. And they do one print at a time. So for example, somebody come into my site, they'll purchase a tee for $50. I then get that money, and then I use that money to then purchase the tee, and it's $34 for a black double print tee. So yeah, it cost $30 to get it printed and produced. Then that rest of the $15, so Shopify obviously take a little percentage of that transaction. So like a little mini transaction fee. So I lose about $1.50, $2. So then I'm left with, let's say, $13. That then $13, well, from that $15, sorry, before I actually take out the 30% before the Shopify take out that $2. So $4.50 of that goes to Southern Youth and Family Services. So 15 take away 14.5, it's about $10.50. Take away $2 because of the service fee of Shopify, and that is roughly, I get about $8.50 or $9, $8 to $9 of profit. So when I say profit, back to the whole concept of profit, when I say profit, that's what I mean by profit, that mini $8 or $9. If somebody uses a 20% discount, so for example, if they get a $50 tee and it comes down to $40, again, the amount to make the shirt stays the same. So 40 minus the 35 to make the tee, I'm left with $5. And then of course, 30% of that goes to Southern Youth and Family Services, so that's $1.50, and then I'm left with $3.50. And again, $2 of that goes to that transaction fee for Shopify, so I'm left with like $1, $1 profit. So when I say profits on that poster, it says, profit or income, it says $1,700, $1,722.82. That's what I earned, or the profit that came, the income that came in during the 2019 and 20 financial year. And then if you look at my expenses, there it has 7,000. So that was anything to do with printing. I actually got my trademark done last year, so that's why that year was really high. And that was out of my own pocket. So obviously it's not I didn't earn enough that year to actually pay for the trademark. And then you can see the donations underneath, which was $767 was donated to Southern Youth and Family Services. $767 in total was donated. $463 of that went to Southern Youth and Family Services, and $304 of that went to Talk to Me Bro. And the reason why there was $304 that went to Talk to Me Bro is because I've got a Talk to Me Bro collection, and that any profits on that proceeds go straight to Talk to Me Bro. So you can see that I don't earn a lot from this business. Well, I don't none of the money goes to me at all. So it doesn't pay for my bills. It doesn't pay for food on the table, and none of it goes to me at all. It goes straight back to the business. And again, I fork out of my own money to run the business, if that makes sense. And this is just a point to make. Sorry for all that jargon and all that muffle stuff. That's just my point to say that I'm not in this game or in this, this game to make myself look cool, or, it's me, a way of expressing myself and a way to give back to the community as the best way that I know that I can. And I've always believed in self-expression, and I've always believed in having a actual cause that I can see an impact is making on the community, and in the front of my eyes. Like I don't really tend to excessively make donations to organizations that I can't see in front of my eyes what's going on. I like to see a personal impact. I like to see an impact that I can visually see. And working in Southern Youth Family Services, I see day in, day out the clients that are personally impacted, and their lives are then put on a much better path from what they came from or where they came from. So I see that firsthand, not so much in depth as a social worker, because I'm not a social worker, I'm just the personal trainer there, but seeing firsthand and interacting with these clients and just hearing a little bit of their stories and what's going on, especially with our broken system of the government and homelessness, it made me realize, this is a great cause that I should and need to donate to. I feel I need to donate to them. So when I first had this initial idea to create a clothing line, that was just the forefront of it, the start, the surface. Because eventually I wanted to branch it out into a lot more things than just a clothing line. So as you can see, I've got my podcast, I've got my Instagram, a little snippet of King Habits too, as well, and I'm now incorporating my life coach with my personal training, and I've created a King development training program. So you've got now this information, or this access to services, in a sense, small services, my PT services, which at the moment we're running classes to half of the class is physical workout, and the second half we talk about a discussion point or a topic that, like core values, or even some things that are hard, like forgiveness, especially forgiving those that have hurt you, and forgiving yourself as well. So we talk about in-depth topics and discussion points, hopefully that people can walk away and apply it to their lives, so that their lives improve or progress and just get better. And that's part of always been as my personal training business from the get-go, when I started 5 to 6 years ago, with reanimation fitness. And the whole idea was to reanimate people back to life, put them on a path where they can do exercise and focus on their body and their physical health, without having the pressure of having to look good, having to always, be presentable for the beach. And it's like, no, you can just focus on how you feel. If you feel better than yesterday for doing a 1 kilometer jog, that's the best thing. Like that's what I want you to get onto, is just get onto that, just progress. getting on that progressing path. You want to just be better than you were yesterday. So I wanted to, with Xander King, be able to not just be a clothing line, but a movement or a face or the forefront of a mindset. That's probably the best way to say it. A mindset that no matter where you are in life, you can be so unhappy with where you're at, but you're not at the end of your life. You can pick up yourself, find better ways to live and have a better lifestyle, whether that be changing your diet, changing your physical exercise regime, changing the movies and the TV shows that you watch, changing the music that you're listening to, changing your friends, your circle of friends. You have to make changes, and uncomfortable changes sometimes to put yourself on a better path, in a better mind frame, in a better mindset, one that will help you in the long run. But back to the homeless thing, like, and people probably say to me like, "Oh, you've never been homeless in your life." Like that's mostly true. I'll explain that in a bit. But I have been blessed with great parents who were able to provide as best they can a roof over my head, or our heads, I should say, because I've got siblings, and food on the table. So not every family is perfect. Every family has their malfunctions in a sense, or there's always friction within family. Obviously, there's personalities that clash, and especially when you're going through teenage years. You're going through hormones, or the three of us were going through hormones. We're all, still finding our way, or finding a sense of identity and belonging in our school, in our friends, circle of friends, in our community, so to speak. So obviously, every family has some dysfunction or malfunction within the relationships. So it wasn't like obviously the most perfect that most people think or was expected to, but none of us had to run away from home in a sense. Once I did. I came back that same night though. But it wasn't bad to what I've heard and seen some clients that I now talk to have been through. Even one of my friends that I've recently been becoming close with, and him just saying that his mum was a drug dealer when he was age 10 to 12, and even just having guys, these like men coming over with weapons, wanting to hurt her because she wasn't paying up her debt to them or something. I didn't have to live through that. I didn't have to deal with that desperation of needing to resort to selling drugs to provide for my family, or for my parents to provide for us. I didn't have to go through that trauma. And some of these kids go through that, like just hearing their stories, and you're just there going, are you serious? Wow, that is, I sometimes I can't comprehend it. I'm there going, and when they're telling me, I don't obviously show them, any sign of, judgment or anything like that, which I don't judge them for that at all. But sometimes you just got to hold back your tears, or hold back your sympathy or empathy, because sometimes there are some emotionally traumatized, so they can attach to you, and if you're not careful, you can attach to them, and then it becomes a dysfunctional relationship, which is hard. But sometimes you just want to reach out and provide for them as best you can. But, as part of your job, I obviously can't be personal to them. So, and just hearing my friend explain where he's come from, it's really heartbreaking sometimes, going, you know what, I had it good. I had it so good. But I have tasted homelessness in a sense, from my own choice though. And sorry, Mum, that I lied to you about this. She's going to be like, what? But 2 years ago, and not many people actually know this story, but I moved out of home when I was about 27. I moved in with a couple of housemates. They weren't the best, so they moved out, and then a few more moved in. They also weren't the greatest, and what tipped the point was I'm like, I need to get out and live somewhere else. And because it just wasn't working out with the people that I was living with. And for those who do rentals or renting, you sometimes, like if you're moving out of one place, you obviously have to give notice and you have to find somewhere else. And sometimes you'll be paying double the rent. And I had to at one stage pay the full rent when I was transitioning between housemates of people moving in and people moving out. And it wasn't easy, and financially it's just a big strain. So when I decided to end living at the house that I was living in with all the housemates that were the ones that were left, and they're going, I don't want to live with anyone at the moment. I don't want to, not even my parents, and no offense to my parents, they're great, they're amazing, but they just have a lot of stuff. And I wanted to get away from being in people's faces and them being in my face and just hearing people walking through the house. And I just want to be around people, full stop. So I actually lived in my car for 10 weeks, and you can actually see the recorded, because I recorded on my phone every night where I stayed. So for 10 weeks I was homeless. The Saturday night though that I actually did go back to my parents, and because I had church the next morning and mum irons my shirt, everyone's going to be like, what? Your mum still irons your church shirt? Oh my gosh, Dingle, you're still a child. I'm like, well, I don't have an iron. I don't like ironing. And mum's willing to do it for me. And she gets to see me every now and then because of that. So, win-win, okay? Don't judge. So I just found it best if I stay at their place on Saturday night, and I can go to church with them in the morning. So it was a good, simple plan. But the rest of the nights, the 6 nights a week, I actually slept in my car. And I had a change of clothes. I went to my mum's on the Saturday, obviously, and washed my clothes and got my fresh clothes the next day. And had them all in my car for the whole week. My bathroom bag, if that's what you call it, bathroom bag. Toiletry bag, that's probably the better word for it. How awkward. I don't know these things. Toiletry bag. And my towel and stuff. So, and where I parked, obviously you get worried about people breaking into the car and people looking in, and I don't want torches in my face if somebody was trying to shine a torch to see who was in the car and who was sleeping in the car. So I actually got black cardboard and cut out the windows and put them all over the windows. The front window though, I put one of those reflecting thingies where you cover it so your car doesn't get hot. I forget what it's called. Sun visor? No, not a sun visor. It's one of those. You know what I'm talking about. Put that at the front, obviously, to block the front window. And for the back window, I actually just stacked up my bags so that it will block out the back light, the light coming in through the back window. And I would sleep in the passenger seat. And every night, except obviously when I was at my mum's, I had pizza. I would go to Domino's, get a $5 pizza, and stay in my car. And during that time, that whole time that I was homeless, I was actually reading a book called, so I had my iPad and I would download ebooks. And the book that I had was Think Big, I think it was called. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. It's such a great book, a really, really good book. And it made me expand my mind in a sense of what I could do for my business and stuff. So, that was, and then the reason why I stopped living in my car, I could have lived in there for a while, but because the seats are not actually flat when they lay down, and mine never actually lay down because it's such a small car, you couldn't really actually fully lay down the back seat. It was eventually going to destroy my back. And I was aware of that. Like, I've already got very slight scoliosis, where my top half of my back sort of leans to the left by a few degrees. And I didn't want to make that worse. I didn't want to make my back so severely bad just from sleeping incorrectly, that it was going to damage my future years. So I'm going, you know what, I have to bite my ego and actually find a place to stay. And that's when I looked on Facebook and found a place in Dapto to live with a couple of strangers that I didn't know, which a couple of them I still see every now and then. We're good friends. So that's my experience of being homeless. So I guess it wasn't as hard because I still had a good source of income. I saved quite a bit of money, and I paid off my car a little bit more during those 10 weeks with the loan that I have for my car. The only thing was like showers. Like, I went to the gym and showered, and nobody really paid attention to any notice. And if anyone asked, I just said, "Oh, I'm staying at a friend's," just lying to them. Yeah, I'm staying at a friend's at the moment, in between, houses. And he always has his friends over, and I don't really like his friends. So I decided to have dinner after I finished, because I finished work at the gym around 8 o'clock or 8:30. Then I'd go grab my pizza, eat in the back room of the gym. And then I'll have a shower at the gym, and by the time I'm having a shower, it's like 9:30. So I'll leave the gym about 10 o'clock, and there'll be like 1 or 2 people in the gym, and I'll just chat to them for a few minutes. And then I'll drive and then go to the location where I parked my car, and that's when I'll read my book and then go to sleep. So that was the only hard thing, was the shower and interacting and telling people or lying to people that I was, because I didn't want them to worry about me. I didn't want them to be concerned so much. So I kind of understand, probably not as severe as some of the young ones of what they're going through with homelessness, but I got a touch or a feel of it. And to be honest, it was some of the most peaceful weeks, I guess, for the past 3 years living with housemates that weren't that great. Some of them were really good, but most of them weren't that. It wasn't fun. Let's put it that way. It's a great learning curve. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret it at all. But it just wasn't exceptionally fun as I hoped, or I expected, in a sense. And that comes down to the relationships weren't as they weren't held up. The follow through of promises wasn't held up, and really, you don't really know a people, in a sense, I guess. Well, I guess you don't really know anyone, because we're human. We don't really know exactly what we want in life. We want one thing and then realize when we get it that it's not really what we want. And I think that's what most of the people that I had in my life at that time were like. And they're like, "Oh, it's a great idea to move out of home and move in with you." But when they live with you and see how hard it is, because, we all got different times of going to work and coming back from work, and, people not pulling their weight around the house, or people just being mentally, in a sense, abusive. And then obviously you have to, protect yourself, in a sense, and you're putting up your walls of you're setting boundaries a whole lot more. There's no trust, mistrust or distrust bouncing around everywhere. So it didn't feel secure. Like, your home should be a place that you feel secure, you feel safe. It's your sanctuary. It's your recharge. You come home and you should be able to just recharge without having any worries about your housemates doing things that are inappropriate. Like, you shouldn't have to be able to worry about that at all. You should just be able to trust each other and respect each other's space, which wasn't like that at all with the housemates that I had. both, physically and mentally in a sense. So yeah, it can be like that for the kids at home. Like if you've been brought up with parents that weren't the best educated, but they still tried their best to provide for the family, but they're not that, what's the word, they haven't got the right tools, like mental tools and even physical tools sometimes, to provide for the family efficiently or effectively for that child to grow into a respectable human part of the community and society, in a sense. And it's just a constant domino effect from generation to generation, which is sad. But no judgment. It's just a fact that some people don't get the right nurturing from their parents, and it travels down into generations. So even when I was living with those people, in my sense, like the bad experiences, I was still blessed compared to what some of these clients they go through with their family and why they become homeless in the end. So but back to the whole point of, that is my point of why I donate 30% of the proceeds to Southern Youth and Family Services. And they're doing a massive impact that myself alone can't make a massive impact like that. And I'd rather fund an organization that is, you can see it in front of your eyes, the amount of impact they're making to the community. And I thought, and I was thinking, this is one of the best ways for me right now to make a contribution to my community, and it's by donating money to this organization that's already doing a great job within the community. So, that's the reason why I donate money. One is because I feel it is my duty as a human being and part of this community and society to give back to the community. And these guys are already doing a great job. A great job doing so much, and behind the scenes that we, like most people, will never see what goes on. So obviously there's the fun parts of obviously running the brand, but I just wanted to share with you the reason why I'm giving 30% of the proceeds to this organization, and why I'm charging, $45 for a single print and $50 for a double print, garments. Because some people go, oh, that's pretty expensive. And I'm like, yeah, no, I understand, because, I like to go to JJ's and buy, 2 for $40 t-shirts, or, t-shirts for $15. I love those sales. Don't get me wrong. I'm a cheapskate in a sense, if that was what you call it. But I know that I can't charge those prices because I'm not buying it wholesale, and I'm not buying it bulk buy, because I'm poor as a one-man band. So I'm like, well, this is an avenue, and maybe in the future, maybe in the near future, maybe when I am able to earn more profit somewhere, or find someone that is wanting to be part of it, bulk buy eventually, and do limited edition garments and prints, and do more events and more classes or more group sessions in a sense, and provide more services so that people have access to not just great clothing and the movement behind it and the mindset behind it, but also have education on their physical health and their mental health as well, and some skills and tools that they can implement on their lives. So I wanted the brand to be much bigger than just a clothing brand. And it's thanks to the ones that are following me at the moment, the ones that do listen to me, and I thank you so much at the moment, who have purchased anything of Xander King. I'm highly grateful, because you are putting in money towards Southern Youth and Family Services, helping homeless, or the risk of, or people that are at risk of homelessness under the age of 24. You guys are making a massive impact that you don't even realize, that you don't even know. So thank you so much for those that have, bought anything, that have come along to any events that I've run, or come along to any of my group sessions that I run. Anyone that listens to these podcasts, thank you to anyone that's listening that follows me on Instagram or Facebook and likes my posts and likes my Instagram TV episodes of King Habits. Thank you so much for being part of me giving back to the community, because this wouldn't obviously be running still, in a sense. Well, I'd still be running it, but obviously at a much higher loss, because it could be coming out of my pocket. Well, it's still, it is coming out of my pocket. But it'll be coming more out of my pocket, in a sense. So you guys are doing a great work in providing a lot more funds. It is a small contribution. It's not a massive, obviously, contribution to what they get sometimes from sponsors of businesses and other organizations and stuff, but even this small impact it still goes a long way, a massive long way. Anyway, just wanted to, I guess, clear up and express, because I haven't done it before exceptionally through any of my mediums, of why I donate money, or donate 30% of the proceeds of Xander King, of the garments on the website, to Southern Youth and Family Services. So anyway, with that, it's almost midnight on a Saturday night on the 24th of April, 2021. Against all odds, collection is still out. So there's a new collection also coming out. Should I tell you right now? Should I disclose that? What's brewing? I don't know. Or should I make you guys just wait until it comes out in June? I'll wait. But I'll give you a hint. There's more against all odds designs coming along. But just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes peeled. There's also other designs coming along as well for winter. So again, keep your eyes peeled. And if you go on the website, you might actually see a very tiny glimpse of what is coming. So hop onto that. My podcast now is on not just Spotify, but on Apple Podcast as well. So go onto Apple on your iTunes, Apple Podcast, whatever it is called. Have a follow, or click on that follow. Even on this Spotify, click on the follow. Make sure you have xanderking.com saved to your bookmarked or favorite websites, just so you can come back every now and then for the exclusive stuff that's coming out and whatnot, and to keep updated. And also on my Instagram, Xander King, and Facebook, to keep updated for any of my group sessions. First session's free, just letting you know. And yeah, that's all about it that I think I've got to tell you. So like, share, and follow, and subscribe. I don't know if that's the right way to the order, but you get what I mean. Awesome. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day if you're listening to this, or if you're listening to it in the day, or a wonderful night if you're listening to it in the evening. And I hope the week for you goes well. I hope that you're pushing yourself to progress and be better. I hope you're doing your best to, give back to the community as much as you can, or as best you can, even if it's just donating a few dollars here and there to organizations that are giving back to the community. Or go purchase one of my garments, and you'll see that 30% of the proceeds go to Southern Youth and Family Services. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you to it, and King up.